making buffalo chicken lasagna for my son Darren. And I've been having a lot of epiphanies, so I decided to just turn on the camera and not worry that I'm not camera worthy, because I'm totally not. Would not want the camera facing the other way, which is usually how I like to show up, is face first. But I'm gonna just take the camera with me and not be too worried about what's really going on. This is the ricotta cheese I just made with the rest of the milk I had, which is perfect timing because it was about to go. It was about to expire. So I got that milk turned into ricotta cheese for lasagna, and I am just putting the water on to boil for the lasagna noodles. And I've already got the chicken made. I decided to batch cook. I've been batch cooking and realized that chicken is one of those things I just never get tired of eating. Or, well, that's not true. I do get tired of eating it, but it seems to be my go-to protein because it's inexpensive compared to other forms of protein, and it's low in fat but high in protein, which is what I'm really focusing on right now, is getting more protein in my diet. And I found it was actually more difficult than I originally thought. But even things like lasagna noodles have 7 grams of protein. And I know people are very, anti-carb. And what I would prefer to use the term is carb conscious, as in be choosy about what you're putting in your body, but you don't have to be fanatical about it to see results. Because ultimately, what is the result you really truly want? And for me, it was more than just weight loss and more than how I appeared. It was, I want ease of life. I want to be able to enjoy my life. I mean, we're only here for an undetermined amount of time, and we're so busy chasing after the things we don't have that we miss out on the things we do. And so I've been really focusing, my focus has been on gratitude, which is not always easy. It's very easy to see the lack in what we don't have. Right now I'm looking around in my kitchen and noticing that for me, it's pretty clean. For me, that's really clean. Now I know there's others that have much neater kitchens than mine, but what I've come to discover is even living alone, you're going to make a mess in your kitchen. There's always going to be dishes. There's always going to be laundry. And no matter how many promises the world gives you of bright and shiny things, you're still going to have those things to contend with. So my approach, which is different than any other that I've seen so far, is to learn to find pleasure and joy in the simple things. It's not flashy. It's not, what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't have a high price tag on it. It's actually got a relatively little price tag to no price tag on it, because it's a state of mind. And that state of mind has eluded me most of my life. And I still have moments where I slip back into old anxiety and fear and all of the things. Oh, what if this happens? What if this doesn't happen? What will my life look like if I change it? If I make this one little change, the whole butterfly effect. One little change can have untold effects down the road, and it can leave you feeling like you just want to stand still. The common phrase that we hear often dealing with anxiety is fight or flight, but there's also freeze and fawn. And those are 2 new ones that I don't remember ever hearing. I was always hearing fight or flight. You can either stand and fight, or you can run away as fast as you can. And the other 2, the freeze and the fawn, I actually identify with more, because I feel like I've been the one to try to calm everybody else down. And I've worked in the restaurant business for over 20 years now. Since the 90s, I've been in the restaurant business in different areas. I was a line cook, a prep cook, a baker, and then a waitress, which was at one time the scariest side of it. I remember saying, I'll never be a waitress. Oh my gosh, to have to face people and deal with their anger and deal with their complaints. Like, I don't want to do that. I'll stay behind the scenes where it's safe in the kitchen, even though the kitchen was a very hot environment, literally and figuratively. If you've ever known anyone that's a line cook, you'll know that they have hot tempers. It isn't just a cliche, it is really true, but it's a hot environment. You know, it is kind of like, I described it, the kitchen in a busy restaurant is like the battlefield on the front line where the bullets are going, you know, the bullets going over your head is the ticket counter. Like, we need this and we need it now and we need it fast and don't you fuck it up or you're in trouble, you know. So it was a very high pressure, even though people are like, it's just food. No, it's like people, the intense feeling of, I have to do this perfectly right away, fast, and deal with everybody being angry and potentially hurting yourself on the hot grease. I'm really surprised I don't see more accidents in the kitchen. Not that I want to. I hope they don't, but they do happen. And a lot of times it does happen due to tempers flaring, or, you know, when you get too angry, you miscalculate what you're doing. You know, it's dangerous. I can already see I'm going to have to edit this video because I'm just blabbering on and on, but this is my practice. I'm practicing. I'm doing a video every day and going to share it. No more than 15 minutes. 15 minutes is kind of like my sweet spot. And I got used to doing that, walking and talking into my recorder. Now I'm doing it with a camera. Again, this is, my kitchen will look different every single time, so maybe that'll be my subject matter for now. Although it is cringeworthy when you go back and look at your past self. I looked at my past self from 2 years ago and was completely shocked. And that's an example of how small changes over time compound real results. That's really my main, I think that is my main message, is small things repeated over time. Because the one thing that's going to be consistent in your life is you. Like, you know, don't have to worry about what your life is going to look like 10 years from now. You really don't know. I mean, none of us predicted the pandemic, even though they say one happens about once every 100 years. And I figured, well, that's not going to happen again. I'm not going to live 100 more in this mortal existence. So, you know, and I survived it. Not only did I survive it, but I feel my overall quality of mental, spiritual, physical, and financial is better now than it was before pandemic. Maybe not so much the financial. That one is kind of a gray area, but I'm realizing the way we view money is changing too. The world is changing, but the way we view money, the way we use money, it's all changing. And I believe that we are in the age of Aquarius, which is the age of the individual. I remember many years ago, my father always talking about the end of the world and how to prepare for it. And he said, do your own thing. And that does seem to be, you know, there's a lot of self-made millionaires these days. You know, how to be, in my day, it was, being a millionaire was only, you know, I believe there were only maybe 4 millionaires in the whole world. Now I know that it's almost like, oh, 1 million isn't even enough. Let me be a billionaire and a trillionaire. And so once you see that the possibilities really are endless, you know, they say the glass ceiling, like you'll just, or no, that's not a glass ceiling, it's an open ceiling. There's no ceiling. It goes on to infinity. But my thing that I've been focusing on for myself, and I'm, you know, can only speak for myself, is slowing down. I'm gonna turn 50 this year, which is unbelievable to me. I don't feel like that could be possible. And then I see that my sons are turning 30 and 27. It's like, oh, it has to be possible. I mean, wasn't I just 27? It wasn't that long ago, was it? So our perceptions of time, money, all of those things are changing. And if there's one thing I feel that living through that has taught me, is the power of the present moment. because tomorrow isn't promised, but that doesn't mean you have to be afraid of it. It could be wonderful too. And no matter how perfect you get your surroundings, they're going to get messed up again. You know, that I found great pleasure in seeing all my towels clean, folded, and put on a shelf. I mean, that never happened as a busy single mom, you know. So it's like these little joys can go a very long way. And we don't necessarily have to go out and chase what the world is telling you that you need. You need more of this and less of that, and more of this and less of that. It's like, I'm interested in my peace of mind more than anything else, because I remember being asked that question. What would be more important to you if you could have one thing? Like, what would be the most important thing you would want in this life? And I said, peace of mind. Peace of mind, you know? And we all have our own way of finding that. So I'm focusing on the little things. The little thing. Even my taste in everything has become miniature. I love miniature succulents, the little plants, and I'm finding joy in the small things. But anyway, I think I've blabbered long enough. It's only 11 minutes, but I'm going to go ahead and shut this off and give it a watch.